I want to share this experience from a CELPIP student who took the exam. Listen to this. I purchased your CELPIP 15-hour class and $39 upgrade package, both of which are in the description. Want to share my sincere appreciation for the class. Look at his scores. I personally got 11, 7, 7, 8 in October. And then after studying the class and guidance, this person got 11, 9, 10, 9. Very good improvement, more than CLB 9, which is great. And he says speaking was 8. Speaking was 8. And after reevaluation, it changed to 9. So initially it was not a 9. Reevaluation changed it to a 9. So that shows reevaluation really helps, first of all. But even then, the speaking score was 9. It was the lowest among others, similar to reading too. But why is it 9? We got to talk about this. The student says he's confident. It could go to 10. And in writing and speaking, it does appreciate. So I do recommend taking reevaluation if you are in doubt. Student says, thank you for all your support. These are fantastic study resources. Its value dramatically exceeds its price. I'll highly recommend it. So this study resource he's talking about, that's their CELPIP 15-hour course and the upgrade package as well. Both are attached as products to this video. Now, why was the speaking score 9? I'm still bothered by that because I want it to be 10. Our students should be getting 10 or higher. But there are some places where students falter, and we'll look at this example question here. And I'll present to you 10 very important, very serious tips and easy tips to boost your speaking score so it's not a 9, it's 10 or higher. But by the way, great job, Mr. Student. If you're looking at this video, I admire you getting that score. It's very good. Now, the question here is question number 1. Your friend is feeling overwhelmed with their studies and is considering taking a break from school. Advise them on how to manage their stress and still keep up with their academic responsibilities. Question number 1, this is 90 seconds of talking. So here is a sample answer. If you want, you can pause the video and you can read it. If you have already done so, let's move on to tip number 1, which is to make sure you have greetings in this question, as well as questions where you are talking to someone who is imaginary. Here you have hi friend, and instead of friend, it's much better if you take a name, but this is a sample here. So make sure you say hi friend, hope, or hi Sarah, Bob, whoever. Hope you are well. That's your greeting. Make sure to start with that. Finish with a greeting too. Stay positive and believe in yourself. You've got this. Take care. Take care, goodbye, whatever is natural to you. If you're one of those people who says, have a nice day, go ahead and say that. Make sure to add these 2 very crucial elements in all CELPIP speaking questions where the question is telling you that you are talking to someone, convincing someone, or so on. Our next tip has to do with cutting the unnecessary introduction. If you check out this intro again here, it says, your mom told me you were having issues with your study, and I know it's hard out there, especially now, considering your program just got an update. It's useless. Look, the question is about giving suggestions, and you need to start with your suggestions. Of course, you need some sort of intro, but not this much. This eats up your time. Not only is it eating up your time, but also it is useless because the words you're filling here are not helping your task response. Your task response is to revolve around the suggestions in this question. So always be careful with your task response. In this case, I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to do that with every question where introduction is unnecessarily too long. If I just cut this part, I would start with, hi friend, hope you are well. I know how hard it can be to manage stress from school. We're relating to the topic right here, and then we get into the suggestions. Take a deep breath and so on, and that's much better. It's good enough. You don't need a very, very long intro. Our next tip has to do with tone. So it's not something that is written here. It's an example I'm going to demonstrate here. So I could be someone who speaks like this. Hi friend, hope you're well. I know how hard it can be to manage stress from school. Take a deep breath and remind yourself, this is a lot of the feedback that I give to students. You sound like a robot. You are monotone. Make sure it's realistic and natural. Make sure to listen to native speakers and copy them, or just do your own natural version. Here's what I would do. And by the way, when I say your own natural version, I mean exaggerated. Even if you are whatever you are naturally day to day, make sure to have a 10 times more exaggerated version of that because expressions count. So I'm going to say, hi friend, hope you're well. I know how hard it can be to manage stress from school. Listen, take a deep breath and remind yourself that It's okay to, and so on and so on. Volume fluctuations, pauses, natural tone, wherever it fits. It depends on what you're saying, but be natural. Don't be a robot. The next thing is to explain your points. Now, if you look at this point, this is point number 3. If things still feel too much, talk to someone you trust. Don't just talk to anyone. Talk to someone you can trust. Kind of repetitive. Thank me later. That's it. That was the initial answer. Just no explanation. It's just talk to someone you trust and look, it's good. Thank me later. Don't do that. Don't try to be smart. Try to go into the exact explanation of how I can do this, why I can do this, and give your reasoning for every question. For example, in this case, I would again say the same first sentence. If things still feel too much, talk to someone you can trust. And now here you can see how this is supposed to be explained. For example, if you simply open up to your family about how you might not live up to their expectations, they will work with you in helping you rather than holding you up against high standards. They'll take care of your well-being before anything else. So here we dive into the example by using for example and going ahead with the elaboration and explain the whole process. If you do this, this will happen. That's why it's important. Now the student did a better job of that in the first 2 points right here. Take a deep breath and remind yourself, and then he explains how it would be, you can create a simple plan, break your task into smaller. So there are steps here. Similarly, there are steps here in the second point. Eat healthy food, your body will handle stress. Don't forget to take short breaks. That's good. That's a good explanation. But it was lacking in the third bullet point, and the reason that happens quite a lot, not only in this question, but other questions towards the end, is because you're rushing. If you're rushing and looking at time and you haven't planned your timing wisely, this can happen. So make sure you have a balanced approach throughout, and that will enable you to have enough time to explain your points thoroughly until the end. Now, the easiest thing you can do is add connectors. In the previous version, right here, let's go back here. You will see there are no connectors. So I don't know where the points are changing. You need to show me. You need to show the examiner where the points change. So I would just simply say, firstly, with my first point, furthermore, with my next point, lastly, with my last point. Simple fix that adds a ton of points to your structure. Make sure you don't ignore this. Easy marks, okay? Next, we got to talk about pauses. There are some major places where we need pauses. For example, hi friend, hope you're well. I know how hard. Now see, there's a pause here because if you say, I hope you're well, I know how hard, that this happens so much. And that shows that you're just doing an exam. You're not natural. When you're talking to friends, give a little pause after, I hope you're well. And that's natural. That's how you talk, right? You wait for an answer. Here we're assuming that an answer has come, so we pause. I know how hard it can be to manage stress from school. Pause before you go to your first point. Pause before you go to your next point. And pause before you go to your last point right here, just before you say, lastly, pause. And then once you're done with all your points, before you get to the final greeting, stay positive and believe in yourself, pause there. And before you say, take care, pause there. So it's going to sound like this at the end. For example, let's say I'm finishing up here. Feeling is temporary and you're capable of handling it. Stay positive and believe in yourself. You've got this. Take care. Natural, all right? And there are those 2-second pauses there when you're having major point changes. So be careful with that. It's another layer to being natural. Also, you want to add realism. For example, the first point we have here is take a deep breath and remind yourself that it's okay to feel overwhelmed. It happens to many people, and I know you let this get to you as well, but you need to start by creating a simple plan and so on. So here I'm showing that I know this person. You know, you are like this, you get overwhelmed. Or if you're making a recommendation like talk to your family, you could say talk to your mom. I know Miss Sarah is excellent in giving advice since she's a psychiatrist. So here you are showing you know this person. It adds realism. It becomes more natural, relaxes you, and is very good for descriptions. You want to also add complex sentences wherever you can. For example, let's have a look at this point. Furthermore, make sure you're taking care of yourself. Small sentence. Get enough sleep, eat healthy food, and drink plenty of water. Small sentence. Your body and mind need energy to handle stress. Small sentence. Every small sentence, if you have so many of them, you have way too many simple sentences, and you need to keep a mixture of simple and complex sentences. So if I get these two last sentences that I just read and try to combine them into one, this is what I get, the red one here. Incorporating enough sleep and positive diet practices will enable you, it should enable you to easily manage stress and remain energetic. So I combined both of my last sentences, and I started with a word like incorporating this and this will enable you to do this. So it's like, if you do this and this, it'll lead to this. It's a cause and effect sentence, a long sentence, it's complex, and it gives you a range of sentences now because you have simple and complex sentences as a mixture. And the last tip is to practice as much as possible. Simple, all you gotta do is record yourself when you're speaking, listen to yourself, and correct yourself as a teacher. Assume you're an English teacher and check out your mistakes. You will be surprised how many mistakes you'll be able to correct. And if you want the best practice, once again, as our previous student, as I showed you earlier in this video, check out our CELPIP 15-hour course in the description, 5 mock tests, exam interface at a very, very low price. It's right now at a huge discount as well, which you'll see as soon as you click the link below. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll talk soon.